Hi friends, it's Carrie. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a special video for you guys. I am collaborating with my friend Christy Gets Crafty here on YouTube. We are doing a collaboration to make a card using the new Lawn Fawn set called Meow You Doin. It's one of my favorite sets from the release. I think I've mentioned that in previous videos. And we both thought it would be fun to do another collab. We did do one of these probably well over a year ago, and if I can think about it, I will link our first collab together in the cards above. So what I'm going to be doing is using all Lawn Fawn cardstock and pattern paper for today's card, as well as obviously the stamp set. And I thought it would be fun to take tips or whatever color inspiration from the Perfectly Plaid Rainbow 6x6, and I happen to have a collection, or the little pack of cardstock that you can get from Lawn Fawn. I don't have like individual packs, so some colors I do, but from the collection pack that I have of the cardstock, these colors were in there, and it perfectly coordinates with the Rainbow Perfectly Plaid 6x6 paper. So I thought it would be fun to kind of create my own little backgrounds on these little circles. I took a circle die from a die set from Lawn Fawn. I'll have it linked below specifically what it's called. But it's a perfect size circle that I wanted to use on my card today. And I thought it would be fun to create different patterns on each one of these circles using the smaller images in this stamp set. So I went ahead and did that, and I did stamp them with the coordinating colors of ink as well on the cardstock, so it's kind of like a tone on tone. So I'm going to move those aside and work on my coloring of my little kitty cats. And I thought it would be fun to create different kitty cats that I see in my life pretty much. Not necessarily my two cats. I have colored cats in the past that were the same colors as my cat. Now this one here is mine. This is the gray cat is Katie. She is my little gray kitty. And both of my cats are about 17 years old. They are older, but you know, they're my babies, and they are equivalent to my children because I don't have any children of my own, and they act like it. They take advantage of that title for sure. But I thought it would be fun to create different colors on the other two kitties that are not necessarily mine, but I do see often, which what I'm saying by that is we have quite a bit of neighborhood kitties, and we see them quite often in our yard around our neighborhood. So this next one that I'm coloring, I thought it would be fun to color. She's kind of like I think it's a female kitty, and she's a little bit different of calico. It's not your normal calico shades, and I thought she was so pretty. She kind of like stays in our yard several times. I think she's the neighbor cat that's kind of directly across the street from us. And so obviously all these kitties we don't obviously get to pet or anything like that because they're very skittish and they're just neighborhood cats, but they feel familiar and feel like my friends too, and they just kind of feel. I feel like if they were really my children that I have of Daisy and Katie, if they were really my kids, the neighborhood cats would be like the neighborhood kids, if you will. That's how I feel like. But anyway, so I thought this would be fun to kind of color this one the same way this one cat is, and I wish we could get up close to them so I could see a little bit more detail, but from what I can see from a distance, she's kind of like this brown, all over brown undertone, and she's got different browns all over her body. And then, so that's what I'm taking is different color browns, and it looks like there wasn't really no direction that I was going in, but I promised that I was, because she has like different darks of different tones of brown, like really dark down her back. That's kind of when I went down her back there, and then lighter tones around the edges of her body. And then she's got these little gray spots, which is very unique. And so that's what I'm taking this cool gray marker here, cool gray 7, and just adding some spots around her body. And it really does tie it all together. It really does make for you unique coloring of this kitty cat. So I liked how she turned out. And then the next one that I thought I would color is, I actually have a name for this kitty. I don't know if it's actually a girl or a boy, but I call it Mr. Orange because he or she is a very bulky kitty. You could tell obviously he or she stays outside a lot of the time. But this is another neighborhood cat that's on the other side of my house, and he or she does stay around our yard a lot. They like to hang out around the cars, and we've got obviously a utility trailer that they like to sleep on sometimes. So, and this one, I wish you could see him in person. He's so pretty, and like I said, I call him Mr. Orange because I really don't know if it's a he or she, but I just thought it would be fun to color this kitty the same way that I like to see him called Mr. Orange. So, of course, it's got stripes all down his back, on the sides of his body and his face and stuff like that. So, and he actually does have like a white tipped tail, but I didn't do that on this kitty cat. So, but it's okay. It's familiar. It's about the same. And of course, I'm just doing a little bit of fun here. So I thought these all three were different enough to where they would really tie in well with the card today. So, and then I'm going to go ahead and just color in on the inside of the little cat bed here, a little sofa bed, or whatever you want to call it. My kitty cats don't have one of these. They have a whole couch and a bed, so they don't necessarily need an individual bed. Of course, I guess they feel that they're old enough or whatever that to feel that they don't need these little things like this. They just have their own couch. So, but so I went ahead and paper pieced the rest of this little cat bed here just to add a little bit of more interest to this little image here. And I just cut out the inside from my cardstock from before. And then you didn't see this here, but I did add a little bit of Copic shading around the edges because whenever you paper piece like this, it just looks like it's kind of floating there. And I didn't want to do that. So, and I was kind of showing you up close the images here of the kitty cats, how they turned out. So now we're going to go ahead and get to work on the rest of our card here. Off camera, I took this scalloped die here. This is kind of like a border die, and I created a little black border. Thought it would be tying. I love to add black accents or black like a sentiment strip or whatever whenever I have lots of color going on my card design. And so that's what I thought it would be neat to put my sentiment on this strip here. So I'm going to add my pattern paper on my card base here, and I just used the largest of the stitched rectangles from Lawn Fawn to do that. Just cut that down off camera, and then I added that to my card base, and I'm just going to put all my pieces onto my card and just see how things are working out, making sure everything is being placed the where I want it and how it's all fitting. So so far so good. It's coming together. So I'm going to add liquid glue on the back of these circles here and get those into place. And then just adding a little bit of glue to the kitty cat and just adhering him directly onto the bed there. That way it's a little bit easier to add the whole entire thing onto the circle. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue to add the glue onto the circles, and then add the little kitty cats later here in a second. I'm going to work on the sentiment strip next, so I'm going to add the little kitty cats last. So I like how that's lining up and everything, so I'm going to start to work on the sentiment strip. And I thought it would be fun to go ahead and add the sentiment, since it's a black strip here, I wanted to go ahead and add a really bright white embossed sentiment. So I'm going to combine a couple of different sentiments from the set. I like this one here that says, wishing you a possum day, and then the little heart, and then it says the cat. So just the activities that a kitty would probably do during a day, and I thought it would be fun to add this little sentiment on this strip here. So I've prepped my little strip with my anti-static powder tool, just because obviously I am going to be embossing like I mentioned before, and I'm just going to ink that up with my Versamark ink, get that good and covered, and then stamp that down to my strip. And then I'm going to take my white embossing powder and get that good and covered before I heat set that. I'm just making sure that I get that lined up, because sometimes whenever you're eyeing things, you got to make sure that it's all straight. And most of the time I'm pretty good at that, but sometimes it doesn't work. So, but I am going to go ahead and add this strip on here. And as I am doing this, I usually edit stuff like this out. But I'm going to show you guys that obviously we all make mistakes whenever we're doing our card making. It doesn't really matter how long you've been doing this, we all make mistakes. So whenever I cut off the ends, you see there that I did not take account, I didn't think ahead on how long my sentiment was, and I just cut off the ends and cut off part of my sentiment. And so obviously we can't leave it like that. So I thought it would be fun just to go ahead and cover that up, and usually more times than not you can fix a mistake in there. And I thought it would be, it's also kind of a happy accident because it adds just one more pop of color to the sentiment and to the whole card design. So I'm taking some more of that green pattern paper from the Rainbow Perfectly Plaid 6x6, and then I just re-stamped my sentiment onto that, and it turned out just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and add my kitty cats to their circles and get those into place. And I did put some foam adhesive on the back of these just to get a little bit of dimension, because everything is obviously so flat on the card. I wanted to pop these up just a bit to give them some interest and to give them a little bit of something. So I'm just going to stamp a sentiment on the inside of the card and a little heart, and then we are going to call it a day. So I am so happy that me and Christy went ahead and decided to do another collab. I always enjoy doing these collabs with her. Like I said, this is the second one, and I had so much fun. She's one of my great friends that I have met through the card making world and YouTube and such, and I just love her to death. So I know she's got something wonderful for you to watch as well, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Thank you guys so much for watching.